off-ramp from Highway 101 in Petaluma. Police say the truck pulling 2 tanks of gasoline had just left the highway when it slipped over and burst into flames. The driver was apparently trapped inside. Firefighters rushed to save several nearby homes that were nearly engulfed by a massive fireball.
Down that lady's backyard down here, that yellow house, and it was so hot we had to get out of there.
It sounded like fireworks exploding, and that's what I thought it was. And my daughter came in the house crying, saying that there was fire.
Firefighters were able to put the fire out about an hour later. Exactly what caused the tanker to crash is still under investigation.
A fire in Tiburon this afternoon burned about 5 acres of grass near the intersection of Highway 101 and...
Police say that 25-year-old Michael Benoit was driving the tanker truck that exploded on Highway 101. The fire burned for more than an hour, threatening nearby homes. A dramatic rescue.
Good afternoon, I'm Tori Campbell.
And I'm Frank Somerville, and we begin this noontime with that huge wildfire that is still burning out of control in the hills of Sonoma County's wine country. The fire started yesterday afternoon and so far has burned about 2,000 acres in the Valley of the Moon. Gary Kaup is in Sonoma County and joins us live now with the latest on the situation. Gary.
Well, the very latest is that the California Department of Forestry has just reopened Cavedale Road to residents, so it's going to let those people back in. The 60 or so people who spent the night in a temporary shelter can go home. What they may well find is that their house is okay, but their land isn't in such good shape. These pictures were shot within the last hour and a half, give you a pretty good idea of what the blaze is doing, namely still burning. There's a lot of smoke, but not a lot of flame. One home is still being threatened, but fire crews are on the scene there. Water drops may be called for if the wind were to suddenly come up the way it did early this morning. The CDF says the fire is 40% contained. That means they have a ring around 40% of it. It's really only the northeast flank that's giving them trouble. Wind and heat combining with steep terrain and dry brush. Perfect conditions for fire.
We don't have any hydrants up in these hills. We have to, whatever water is what we bring with us. So water is a scarce resource. We use it well, but we have to use it very sparingly. And when we had the type of spotting that we had yesterday afternoon, the engines, there wasn't enough water in the hills to take care of the fire.
Only one home has been lost, that one off of Cavedale Road. Nobody hurt. 800 firefighters on the lines. Fresh crews are being brought in right now to relieve those who've been on the lines for a day and a night now. And the word is that they're hoping for full containment by tomorrow night. If the weather continues to cooperate, as it is right now, it's fairly mild, all things considered, and the wind is fairly easy, then the containment could come a little bit earlier. That is the story in Sonoma County. Tori and Frank.
All right, thank you, Gary. And to get a better idea of the extent of this fire, it's best to see it from the air. And reporter Rob Marshall is flying above the air. He will join us in a little bit to show us what the scenes above the air. Federal law enforcement officials